Hello, citizens. We come to you today with this urgent breaking news bulletin. The automatons have taken one step further towards conquering super Earth controlled planets. We are calling for more Helldivers. We have a new recruit joining the chat. Salutes to the newest Sony pony amongst the campaign comrades. Mike,
Of
how's
course,
it
he's
feel?
saluting wrong because he's new, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Mike, how's it feel? How's it feel to finally become enlightened?
I
And
feel I feel superior than
When you plugged
my
it in for
fellow
the first
man.
time, did the waves finally like coalesce? Did the sine waves in your brain all
Yeah,
stabilize?
it was like a Jimmy Neutron moment. It was
Yeah,
like brain
you
blast.
saw the
all
code.
the haptics were just creating brain blasts as just you were just feeling more immersed than you ever have in any gaming experience.
Suddenly became fluent in Japanese and found himself
He
wearing
looked
a
he looked down.
kimono.
He was holding a bowl of ramen, chopsticks in hand.
Well, I did plug it into a Samsung TV, so the Japanese and the
Korean.
South Korean, yeah, there was some tension, so
Yeah,
I didn't get the full.
there's some
Let's not get into the
unresolved
discussion
tension
on how
there.
they
Yeah.
basically serve the same food but call it different things because
Oh
Well,
no.
that's
Canceled. We're canceled.
yeah. That's a product of colonialism. We'll move on from that. But yeah, I feel superior.
you see we're big in Malaysia, which finds that joke hilarious. So.
Yeah.
Now that you have Sony within your system, has Microsoft let you out of their clutches and have you successfully canceled Game Pass?
I actually
I wouldn't be
have.
surprised if Game Pass sensed a Sony system on his internet.
The apparently Wells Fargo is weird compared to Chase in that it issues different credit card numbers each time a credit card expires. Chase does not. It just gives you the fucking same numbers, new card, new
With a different
expiration date.
with
Yeah,
different rear digits and a different expiration.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
exactly.
I think my Bank of America card usually does
Wells
that too.
Fargo, I don't know if it's part of their
Bank
like
of America Visa.
kooky banking shit where they're saying that more accounts are opened or some shit like that.
Let's say Wells Fargo
Uh,
doing some more fraud in your
Yeah.
name.
yeah,
Mike just
yeah,
now has
exactly.
another credit card opened.
Yeah, say
Yeah,
they've issued you this new one and they're keeping the other one hush hush
yeah, exactly.
as they're doing sketchy
Um,
trades under your
but
name.
so now Game Pass is no more.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
You've been
Good,
freed. You have
good
walked
riddance.
right back into New Game Pass, which is PlayStation Plus Extra.
Yep. I think I
Yeah.
even just got the premium.
I mean,
when you're brand new, if you're gonna try it,
it
go
feels
for
good.
it. But
Yeah,
you
it feels
gotta,
good.
Yeah.
But what I'm
gotta
probably
play those
gonna
games though. Always keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you only keep access to them so long as you retain the membership.
Mm.
Yeah, this is definitely off topic, but when it was like sometime last year, Sony did like this promotion thing where it's like you could buy in for a year or more at a time at a significant discount for your membership thing. So like I'm like locked in at the premium one and saved like a good amount of money. But I definitely think when that expires and I would be forced to re-up, I do think I'm gonna downgrade to the middle
I mean, the
tier.
funny part is I own all the games on the premium part that I would want to have
Because
access for it
the only
anyway.
difference with the premium is like the classic catalog, and that
Yeah.
has by far been their worst.
Because there's a small portion
They
of those that
provided
they
the
sell
least of
though,
that,
because they sold them on the PS4 generation.
So you can just get them, you
Yeah,
can just buy them
like the Jack and
on the store.
Daxter trilogy.
Ooh,
Yep. That's what I downloaded.
Okay.
hell yeah!
So I saw that.
What now you're
Oh my
thinking about
god!
this?
Now that Mike has a PS5, we've
Yeah.
gained access to be able to do so many Sony games now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Mike's back catalog just like
Just
exploded.
Yeah.
So with that, I am curious, what of the like Sony exclusives that you've not played, what is like your top? What's the one that's you're itching to actually get to?
I bought God of War Ragnarok because it was on sale.
Good
I
choice.
really would like to play Spider-Man 2, but it's not on sale, so I did not buy it.
Absolutely wait for a sale. You're not missing
Yeah,
on any
Exactly. No,
on
I'm not paying
anything groundbreaking.
$70 for that. Fuck that. No, yeah, I'm totally waiting for a sale. So I mean, I'm
Dude,
gonna play God of
play
War.
Rift Apart. You gotta get Ratchet and
You
Clank
played
Rift
that on
Apart.
PC.
I played it. Yeah, I played it on
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
PC.
right. I forgot. I totally forgot that that was part of their recent PC
Yeah.
Yeah.
expansion. But you could play it with the haptics of the
I mean, yeah,
of the DualSense now.
that is true. I want to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. I started playing some more of that this morning, but then was itching to Helldive. Uh,
Which we will talk more about once
Yeah.
we're fully done, you know, indoctrinating him into the pony lifestyle.
yeah, and then like I downloaded some of the Assassin's Creed like remasters.
Yeah, because the real
Of
thing you should
course,
always check for
naturally.
is that you've got the
No,
you've got
no.
the whole PS4 catalog too, which has some bangers that never made its way out.
Yeah. Well, I never
Like you can get like
played.
Shadows of the Colossus.
That Shadow
Still
of the
on my
Colossus
I
list.
saw that.
and like The
Yeah.
Last Guardian. I like those are like two kind of like similar-ish games that like
Yeah,
of that
spiritual
kind of
successor.
yeah, that kind of era that I have on I have those claimed from PS Plus and things I want to play at one point at some point.
I gotta play Foam Rollers or whatever the fuck it is.
Foam
My
Stars,
free
baby.
game.
I told
Foam
you.
Stars.
Now that you got your
I
PS5, we
downloaded
can
it.
all redeem it for free. Foam Stars
Mhm.
channel.
I'm pretty sure I
I'm
did
unironically down
grab
to
it.
try it at some point when needed.
I'd be down. Fuck it, I have it. It was free.
Yeah,
think-
we all have it for free. It was the monthly game for
Ragnarok is a good one, though. I think Ragnarok's a good one to go with too.
I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, definitely. But there's some
And
there's
then I'm gonna
definitely
have to get
some
Cyberpunk.
classics.
Yes.
But Cyberpunk, I'm gonna go like try to find it at Target or something on their
yeah. If you can
sale
find a
rack
PS4 copy of Cyberpunk, you'll find it for
Yeah.
dirt cheap, and it'll be the PS5 upgrade for free.
Yeah. So I might go look for that later today because that's probably what I'd be itching to do. But I want to finish Final Fantasy remake,
Yeah.
7 remake first.
I think it's funny because I think I bought the deluxe edition of the PS4, which I think comes with the DLC included.
For
It was like before they
Cyberpunk.
had like released the DLC. It was like right at the launch edition deluxe or whatever.
Yeah. I would recommend jumping into that sooner than later, particularly for
When's your month? You do
is it August? I think we're doing
August?
that for
No,
August.
September.
September.
You're all the
okay,
way
yeah.
in September.
So you got some time. But
yeah, but I have to play that game for like 200 hours to get every possible route and playthrough mapped
It's
out.
easy to do every ending. The only one that's tough to do is like the secret ending because it's tied to it's like at like a 3/4 point in the game. It's tied you've got to like fully max out your relationship with Johnny, and then it's tied to choosing a specific dialogue choice, series of dialogue choices when you like go and find his like resting place. That I was like one one dialogue choice off of doing like I almost chose it naturally before I learned about it, and then I like as I looked it up and learned about it, I was like I made one wrong choice, and so locked me out of that. But otherwise, for that, you can just save before the final choice and just reload and do all the different
The
endings
Bloodborne
that way.
method.
It's yeah, the only one that's like tied to choices or whatever is the secret ending. That's it. You don't have to do multiple playthroughs to get every.
But it is still like I'm gonna be at like 100 hours, and I am probably one of the quicker.
Okay, so
Gameplay.
multiply by 4.
You did more than I did.
Mhm.
I was I did the full game and did Phantom Liberty, and I think I was only at like 80 hours. I and I was doing a lot because yours is probably counting all
Yes,
the
I was about
times
to say
you
it's
all the
counting my
times
other plays.
you start and stopped.
Yeah, which I had about 20 hours in. So yeah, I'm at 60. So yeah, I'll end up at
Yeah.
around 80 then. Never mind. I had forgotten that it was counting those other plays.
So I'd done a lot. I mean, I did every side mission, and then I was doing like a lot of like almost every gig until I got towards the end, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to move on. So I stopped doing all those, and that put me at around 80 hours with the including the DLC. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be a good one. But yeah, let's talk about Helldivers, folks. Like we were like texting in the chat, like,
No, this is just
what
2 straight episodes of Cyberpunk. Tune it
I
down.
say what's everybody's everybody's story choice for this weekend. It's like Matt kind of like did his little he's been salutes to him, salutes to him for doing, being a soldier for liberty. Freeing up the rest of us, he's just been like going through and just like gives us a quick summary of all the news stories that we've collected. And
It's just easier for me to scroll through the whole month and be like, okay, here's the big stories I saw. If you see anything else,
but
add
like
to it.
this month it was like the clearest one where it's like, yeah, those are the only stories that anybody's talking about, right? It was, and like we can give spoilers for today. It's like it's Helldivers, all the other underneath that umbrella, all the other live service, the flops that we hold kind of in contrast.
Flotsam, as
Yeah,
one would say.
that we hold in contrast to the outrageous success of Helldivers. We've got the fucking the Xbox going third party drama, and Shadow of the Erd Tree dissection and discussion. Those are like the only things that like anybody cares about, right now. So there's plenty of other things that happened. A bunch of French Ubisoft employees went on strike for,
But I mean,
for
the French going
better
on
wages.
strike isn't really news.
Yeah, they do that all. The French do be doing,
It's a regular.
and good on them.
It's like, oh, the French are striking
solidarity.
again. It's like, oh, it's that time of the month. Got it.
But like solidarity with them. Hopefully they're getting better pay, because as is proven like by one of these stories, the shit that's going on with Skull and Bones is like, it sucks to be an employee at, as much as it sucks to be a player, an enjoyer of Ubisoft games, as few as those may be now, it's worse to be an Ubisoft employee.
Imagine being the tier of Ubisoft employee who doesn't get the full benefit of like, oh, at least I make a lot of money, even though like everyone hates us.
No.
It's like, oh, everyone hates us and I don't make enough money and everything sucks.
Yeah, it's bad. But yeah, before we get into all that though, Helldivers, folks, we are enlisting as soldiers for the fight for democracy. Freedom isn't free. It requires a sacrifice, and I am willing to make it.
In precise management.
Yeah, dude, it's been a
And
blast.
Lots of friendly fire.
It's such an interesting discussion to me, because we as a channel, and I think of all of our tastes for gaming, would seem to put it so antithetical to the model of Helldivers being a live service multiplayer game. But it's like every aspect that would kind of turn us away has been done so thoughtfully that it is like, at the least obtrusive as possible.
Yep.
Server issues not included. The always online function.
They released and said that they went all weekend without server
Yeah,
problems.
no, I had no problems, and so it it took them a while, but like for all
They
those
said the
people
cap's
who
up
were
over 800,000 now, which is crazy to think,
like
considering the lack of hype for pre-launch.
Like the one bit of criticism that I think can be leveled at them, and it's like in some degrees it's fair, in some degrees it's not, but like you can see the point of view of people who would be frustrated for, yes, it's not a full price game, but the always online bit does suck. You paid $40 and you can't play the game. That's
Hey man, sometimes companies give
brutal.
you a cool little reimbursement. Like AT&T slipped into my fucking email this morning and was like, "Hey brother, we saw you had an outage on Thursday."
Yeah, they texted me.
Here's a nice little fucking $5 credit for your problem.
I didn't see that.
I didn't even get that. They just texted me a little. They just texted me a little, "We're sorry."
I got a nice
sorry.
little email from AT&T saying, "We're sorry. Here's a $5 credit on your account." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Oh,
Nice.
shucks.
Oh, thanks. With the rounding and my math, it's still the same number on my budget.
So one thing I'm really curious about with Helldivers, because I know that both Ben and Matt tried to get uh hard copies, physical copies.
They exist.
Well, I went into the
I don't know
GameStop.
where. I don't know where.
They had it on the wall when I asked, "Can I get a PS5 and a copy of Helldivers?" He goes, "Oh, they never delivered the copies of Helldivers. Like we never got them." So I think
Weird.
Well,
conspiracy mind.
GameStop is not a real, isn't is
That's
not a
true.
real
Yeah.
game distributor.
GameStop is the
That's fair.
equivalent of
That's fair.
Marshalls at this point, where they just
That's fair.
steal shit
That's
off
fair.
the back of trucks and loading docks.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
Uh,
I'll take my
So
tinfoil hat off. But
Ben,
Because
still
like
thought it was
I
weird.
last I
no,
checked,
I mean,
I could have ordered one from Best Buy and had it by now. Like
oh
last
really?
I went on there,
I haven't been on since I bought it
I was
digitally.
on
But
2 days ago
when
because
I
I
was
was looking at
looking, it
headphones.
was just completely unavailable. You couldn't order it, couldn't pick it up, could nothing, just unavailable. Because it was a similar issue, I think, of the server capacity is they didn't expect it to be as popular as it was.
I mean, there
So
is a legitimate Final Fantasy 14 did it where they ran out of server capacity and they just stopped selling new licenses. They're like, okay, until we get our server shit figured out,
they
no
took
new
it down.
players.
Yeah, they took it
Sorry.
down from storefronts. I do remember that, and I do remember people bringing that up as points of comparison for this. But all these it is so interesting that all these elements that normally we would be so critical of, they've managed to do it in somehow the least offensive way possible. Like in general, the studio head for Arrowhead is like kind of slowly creeping up as like my favorite studio head, like almost reaching Sven Vink levels from Larian. But like he's put out some like awesome. I mean, they've been very communicative,
I
which is
really
always
enjoy
good.
some of his sleep deprived tweets. There was
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
one where it was like he was like prematurely celebrating it, and then he had to delete it. And was like, nope, nope, nope. We're
So then
not
there's
saying the servers are fixed just yet.
like the quote that I'm finding here, where he's like talking about like how you know how minimal the microtransactions are and how non really
I mean, I don't feel
upfront they
compelled in
are.
any way to engage with the money side of the store. So like
But
it's
so
that's
not
the
pay.
first thing
It's
they do
not pay to
right.
win. It's not
Well,
pay
it's
to
not
win.
just it's not pay to win, but like when you open the store, you don't immediately see currency you need to buy.
right, and so
You know,
the
you're
quote
not immediately bombarded with like, oh, I need to like this is how much all this currency costs.
and the quote is, you have to earn the right to monetize. I truly believe that. If people want to support this title, they have an option, but we are never forcing anyone to do so. And it starts off with this game being at a great price point, right? Of $40. You don't have to pay any extra money. I mean, you could pay more than $40 in two ways. You could, upfront costs, pay for the, like the Super Citizen Edition, which automatically unlocks the premium battle pass, or you can do microtransactions to get the super credits that can then unlock the premium battle pass or the special like superstore things that are, with the exception of armor, all the other things are just, the helmets and capes are just cosmetic. There are no weapons in that store, and all those things that cost super credits can be done for free. It takes time to earn enough the other resources to buy super credits with the other in-game currency, or to find them in the world. So like I've
We
been
also don't know
saving them up.
necessarily what their final end game live service is. Whether or not it's going to be like Amazon's New World, where you just pay the upfront cost and that's it, or if there's potential like where
Paid
down the line there's
expansions.
paid expansions, or if
Yeah,
it's going to all be baked into the
Which
upfront cost and it's
I
just going to
feel
be
like
new.
from giving them the benefit of the doubt, I feel like that they're not going to do that. I feel like that they are probably seeing enough success and enough cash
I
inflow
mean,
that they're
the fact that they sold as much as they did when they definitely weren't expecting that means that they have an influx of capital to work with right now
yeah,
that they
there's
probably
there's a
weren't expecting.
surplus.
Yeah,
Um,
they're a small
but I
company
do,
too. I think that's part of it.
yeah, they're about 100 people, and I do think if they did sell expansions, that doesn't put me off. I'm okay with them
Expansions are
doing
just
that.
DLC. My issue always comes with the MMO model where it's the expansion and you have to pay a subscription on top of everything constantly.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like I'm not keen on subscription service style games
But I
because
just
then
I
it's
just
like the longer you take, the more you're hurting your wallet.
I feel like they're not going to do that though with how the global war campaign aspect works. The like the kind of MMO aspect of this game of having everybody
We were part
who's
of a liberation.
contributing. Yeah, it's like that's the thing is they're not going to gate that off, right? They're not going to gate that off to whoever is willing to pay for it. I don't think that that would work. I think they would have to tune that back so much to scale it to just the people who are buying it. It's like all like we basically know that there's going to be at least one more faction that's introduced. Like if you look at the map, the like the universe map or the galaxy map,
Yeah.
there's like at least one, if not two other like whole sectors that just aren't even touched at this point. So there's from the original game, we know that there is one other faction to be introduced, and they may introduce a whole new one as well. And yeah, so the latest update from Arrowhead that I think was just today or maybe last night, but like I think Matt said it this morning is like that. So they're celebrating, them being able to achieve stable servers for this last weekend has now allowed them to start shifting into
The actual development cycle
yeah
that they had planned.
yeah to going into the actual roadmap of of continued development. So, and again, there's a lot that we as players here on the channel have yet to see, right? There are plenty of mission types and difficulty levels that we have not even scraped the surface on yet. So we gotta level the rest of the boys up to be able to attempt some more challenging missions. But just in terms of
I
like the
think I'm
game,
level 7 now.
Yeah.
were you grinding some more last night? Or
No,
earlier
this
this morning?
morning. Yeah, this morning when Andrew and I were playing.
It's but it's even just so the core gameplay loop is just very enjoyable. Like they somehow managed to even do things like procedural generation well. Again, it's like every aspect that we would be critical of in any like basically any other game. Is it just because we're ponies? Is that it? Is
I
that it?
mean,
Is that
there
when
was
Sony
a
does
great
it, or
meme like right on
we're
like the
okay with
launch
it?
weekend or like right after where it was like Sony, oh, we're gonna try to make some games as a service titles and hope that like one of them sticks eventually, like releases first one and it sticks immediately.
Yeah. But I really think the success beyond it being some really smart design, um, it's just the tone. The tone is just
I mean,
incredible.
they've said it in interviews or whatnot, where it was like we've made sure to capture the comedic element, but still bring forward that like satirical fascist style, Starship Troopers. It's actually kind
It's
of funny because there was a Starship Troopers game that came out last year or the like
oh
at the end of
yeah,
the year before,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting its absolute shit pushed in right now by not Starship Troopers.
By legally distinct Starship Troopers, yeah. It's
I like how they can get away with calling them Terminids too, which are really close to Tyranids.
and yeah,
Yeah.
the designs are definitely closer to Tyranids than they are the Starship Troopers
Bugs.
bugs. But yeah, we have enlisted in the fight for democracy, and we will continue playing and continue leveling up. And I just can't wait to unlock the railgun. Always be railgunning. Can't wait.
Putting it in unsafe mode.
Mm-hmm.
I can legally disclaim that as an engineer, I do not confirm or deny the existence of a railgun.
It's been a blast. And what I'm going to be interested to see for us is like how we stick with it. We're in a it released, I think, in a fortuitous time. Everyone's saying, oh yeah, February is is proving again to be a crazy month. But like for me, it's like
I think
it's been
the February
Helldivers
has turned
and
into a crazy month thing is more us manifesting it than it being an actual trend.
well, it's because
I
the
think
other
that we
games
just
that
had a
came
couple
out.
good Februaries, and now we're like, yo, February is the month for gaming.
Well, here they released a lot of stuff, and two of the ones are the ones that we already alluded to that just absolutely
Yeah,
are
man, Suicide
terrible,
Squad.
terrible games. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and fucking Skull and Bones are just like fucking Arkham Knight was an 11-year-old game is getting more players than Suicide Squad
I
consistently.
mean, the funny part was Helldivers 1 had more concurrent players on a Friday night than Suicide Squad.
Did you guys see like the? I don't think Zaslav himself has stepped in to say anything about it. I
They
just
said
saw
it was
some.
disappointing.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think
he
he was the
did.
one he the one who said it. I thought
I
it was
think
like
he
the
did. Because
CFO
it
or
was on an
something.
earnings call. It might
I
have
think it
been the
was a. I
CFO.
think it was
someone in
another.
the
It was
chief executive suite.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
another executive, but I don't think it was Zaslav. I don't think it was the Grim Reaper himself. But
That fucking guy.
He's
I would
sharpening his scythe, though.
yeah, uh it's like I'm doing the shucks, you don't say. They're saying it failed to meet expectations, and it's like, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing that I think really helped Helldivers, which is the price point. Like I don't think that
$3
is
is uninvasive.
yeah, I don't think that's
for a chance game that you might not know you
Like,
need.
what do you
Not
mean?
only
What do you
that.
mean? Skull and Bones is the first quadruple A game, and doesn't it show it? That's worth $70.
But in that it's still providing the same near experience of the $70 live service games. Like that's the thing. Like it's still providing the same type of experience that you're getting in whatever you want to play as a live service at the moment, but it's initially cheaper, and on top of that, the in-game microtransactions don't further drain your wallet to feel like you're accomplishing, anything in the game.
A comparison point too is just for like the uninitiated. I'm pretty sure $40 was the cost of a Nintendo DS game back in the day.
40 was the PS2
think about
game price.
Think about the scope difference in what you're getting for, and I mean that's also $40 of 2008 money.
Yeah,
which was also
taking
Monopoly.
inflation into account.
I got a lot of hours out of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I'm just saying, like, think of like the difference of what you're getting for $40 though in this package, just from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
No, it's a fantastic deal.
I actually thought it was hilarious when I found out it's built on Archaic Engine, the Vermintide engine.
Huh.
And
It's
it's a defunct engine that hasn't received updates since like 2019. So their engineers were working with outdated engine to make it function proper.
I had seen that. I did not know it was the same.
Yeah, it's the Vermintide engine.
Vermintide. That's interesting.
Which means that it is possible to make Vermintide run without being shit.
Well, I think one of the good things about Vermintide is the hordes, which this
is
game
why
does
it makes
well
sense
too.
to me. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, there's why. It's because the horde aspect of it works.
Yeah.
And like as you play through Helldivers and you see like the mission types, like there's probably just a bit more diversity in mission types than I guess that's actually probably unfair to Helldivers. I would say what is still understandably a limited variety of mission types still eclipses like the 3 mission types you get in Suicide Squad. Go and shoot thing, go and defend thing, go and defend moving thing, and that's it.
And they're all pink and purple.
And you're shooting purple zits the whole time, whereas like there are more missions, and yes, if you play enough you'll see that when you go from the bugs to the bots, they're the same mission types, but have been kind of reskinned, but also
I
there are
mean,
slight
the bots had
mechanical
such a different
differences,
element
but
to levels.
they're tonally completely different, as well as then
Yeah.
how the game plays is completely different
When
because the
we
play
drop down
styles
on a bug planet,
are completely different.
speaking like the reporter from Starship Troopers, it's an ugly planet, a bug planet. When we drop down on a bug planet, I'm ready for liberty and liberating and destroying bugs, and I'm here to do it. When we drop down on an automaton planet, it is fucking like mask on, like
It's
doing
the
music in the
yeah,
background. We are
it's the meme of like the kids singing the song on the bug planet, and then the sweaty guy just mashing keys on the bot
Yeah.
planet. Like absolutely, that's that's the difference. So it's they
I'm actually
succeed.
glad to see in one of the more recent updates they toned back the leveling on the bot escorts.
Like I was saying to Mike before you two logged in, it's like so level 1 and 2 bot missions are exclusively the escort ones where you're getting people
Yeah.
to the ship to the escape ship. Those are harder than level 3 and up missions on in the bot planets. They are absolutely harder than what are supposed to be the harder level things, because you're just getting fucking swarmed by bots that are shooting at you, that's got fucking chain swords that like are shooting rockets at you, like that they're
Dudes
literal
with chain swords, little dudes with chain swords
there are literal chicken walkers coming at you.
that you got to get behind them.
It's gnarly. So it's like the weak spots are so small, like you gotta have pinpoint accuracy. It's
But it makes sense
those
because
missions are
automatons
incredibly.
would be built to be, mechanically
They're
superior
not
to
mindless.
squishiness.
Yeah.
Dr. Nefarious would be proud if he saw them.
Yeah, so we could talk about Helldivers
For the rest of the episode.
all fucking day. We've already like slowly made the turn to becoming a Helldivers channel. It's like all we've been streaming for the past week and a half, and we'll probably continue at least for
I mean,
group
it's one of
streams
those
for a
things like
while.
it just gets Starship Troopers is a great
Gets
movie
the
and it
people
gets that
going.
tone right.
Yeah. And dude, the memes have just been so good. Just like they're the word of mouth of the community has been so good that like honestly, I have not been giggling as much at at clips from things that I like, even like the funny memes that I see non-Helldivers related that I send don't get the chuckles out of me. The absolute like schoolgirl giggles that seeing somebody get exploded by their own airstrike.
You've got the ick, like a man who's tasted human meat.
Mhm.
The unintentional comedy of this game is second to none. It's even better than what FromSoft's able to do. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I always maintain that like FromSoft games are comedy game. Like particularly Elden Ring is a comedy game.
Yeah, they're traditional Greek comedies.
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. I'm a learned person who knows about Greek comedies.
continuing with the Sony pony bit though. What's going on? What's going on with Sony earnings? Not looking great from what I could tell. They lost like how many $1 billion in stock value?
They lost 10 billion in market cap. Their stock values dropped by essentially 10% in 2 weeks.
They lowered production estimations or
Yes.
final sales
For
estimations.
my
That was what
financial
triggered all this.
for my financial illiteracy, I was like, is that a little bit overreacting? They're still
The
selling
market
really
always
well.
overreacts.
No, but it's actually not just the production change, which they
Okay.
did reduce. They reduced their total budgeted or expected sales by 4 million consoles from 25 million to 21, which yeah, if this were a reaction solely to that, I would say it's an overreaction, but what's really driving the market response is their drop in profitability. They went from a margin of 13 to 20% a year ago to a like 5 to 8% margin.
Ooh.
So despite seeing their highest revenue numbers they're seeing lower net income, and that freaks out
That's also
investors.
$200 million on Spider-Man 2. That's $200 million on
Right. Absolutely. And that's
triple A
what
game budgets expanding too much.
Yes. No, and that's what I think is the thing that is interesting from our perspective here. And like, we could the financials or whatever. Like the investors are gonna sell the stock for a little bit. It'll drop in price maybe. It's not gonna go down crazy until they see what happens at the next quarter. They see continued profit margin decline, it's gonna get worse. But if they're able to boost those margins, which one way of doing that is laying off people, then they will, at least
they
assuage these fears a little bit.
They had a whatever discussion meeting press conference where there was some quotes pulled that were then retranslated and fixed, or they like reclarified later, where they had talked about
they're
getting
not
their budgets
they're
in
not
check.
happy with Bungie. They are.
Yeah,
they
and
are
it turns out that they weren't
very much
speaking about
not
everyone. That
happy
they were.
with
They clarified particularly after the fact. It
Yeah.
was just Bungie.
They're very they're having some buyer's remorse there, which we talked about like months ago. That like Sony got fucking fleeced.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bungie
they got
does
Bungie
not
at
have
the exact high point, and then Bungie has been just laying eggs consistently.
And they bought Bungie. That was so stupid because they bought it at what was already the visible end of the life cycle of what made Bungie profitable, which was Destiny 2. They already, when they did the transaction, the writing was on the wall that Destiny 2 was going to end sooner than later, and they didn't have a plan for what comes next.
There, with like they've taken a lot of their, they've taken a lot of Bungie's oversight, into credit for their games as a service models, and it's like, how much of that do they actually want to, listen to at this point?
What do you think? What do you think would have happened if Bungie got their paws on
It was also
Helldivers, like they did with the Last of Us. The Last of Us.
It would have just been a fucking Destiny shooter.
So they totally would have done like, oh, this
thing.
this is under monetized.
Yes. It's not monetized the way Destiny is now. Honestly, original Destiny.
I think the actual terms wouldn't be under monetized. It would be there's no staying power.
Right. That's what they've said. That's what they said about the Last of Us one. So they don't have the ability to
maintain player base,
maintain this and keep this going. Because again, showing that even what they were bought for, they were not really bought.
They were bought as a reaction to the Bethesda purchase.
But they're not actually bought for Destiny. Yes, the profits that Destiny was hopefully going to bring in, it was hopefully only a plus. But they were brought in for the supposed expertise in that live service push, and
now they're starting to find out that their expertise is uncontrolled budgets and
poor management.
and improper timelines.
But even besides the Bungie conversation, I think the profit margin thing's interesting because this is now something that's been reported on for over a year, which is these expanding budgets of these games and
exploding budgets.
I just don't.
I think more appropriate.
What does that mean for gaming? Like for me,
there's
that
going to be an
umbrella
burst. It's a bubble. It's a bubble, right? That's going to burst at some point, and meaning that we're going to at some point have a dearth of so-called AAA productions.
Skull and Bones would be an indication of that.
I think
that's what I think.
I think it could be an inflection.
That
if it wasn't a third party, if it wasn't still a third party publisher that happened to, I think that it would be Skull and Bones would have served more as an inflection point than it's still just kind of a warning sign. But I think
they're not the only one who lowered or lost some market cap. Nintendo also lost some around the same time because the speculation and or push of the Switch 2 from a holiday 2024 launch to what will end up most likely being March 2025.
So
just based on fiscal year nonsense.
Tell me if this makes sense to you guys. It's like this is like the future that I see that has some upside, but still actually a lot of downside, largely for the employees at these first party development studios. I think, consumers of video games will be fine. We will have games to play. I don't think that will be the issue. I think the
And I got
upside
like
is
500 games in my backlog. I got games
not
for
only
years.
backlog, but we'll still be seeing new good games. We'll be seeing more and more quote unquote indie games. It's more like double A is going to take over this kind of space that they are, and it's going to be from
Well, what you're seeing a lot of
third
is
party studios
the
and
the
publishers.
layoff castaways forming their
But
own studios.
that's the bad side, right? Is so it's like we're gonna see the bursting of this AAA bubble where we're basically already at the point of no return where AAA game development is unsustainable. That phrase has been thrown out a lot. That
I
just
mean, it was also built
there's
up on a COVID
no
bubble.
but there's no way that these games will be able to turn a profit. Like fucking Spider-Man, which you talked about earlier in the episode, Matt. A From any normal metric, a hugely successful game in terms of copies sold makes no fucking money. Insomniac has made fucking no money for their games because they
Well,
cost
that's not true.
too
They made a
much.
shitload of money off of Spider-Man 1.
Yes,
And
and
that's
then
because
since then,
Spider-Man 1's budget was low,
and then
relatively speaking.
since then, they have made basically no money. They have broken even, but they have made fucking no money. And they're just going to get to the point where it becomes impossible for these games to do anything but lose money.
When you're riding the razor's edge, any one kick in a direction is enough to lose people jobs.
Yeah. So that this type of development will cease at some point. The immediate effect of that will be people are losing their jobs. These studios people are going to lose their jobs.
I think what the
Hopefully,
biggest thing is going
it
to happen
creates
right
more
now.
third-party studios emerge from that and are creating smaller, more controlled, more focused projects
Yeah,
that
but
allow.
there's
No, go
a
ahead.
negative kick to that, which is big companies swooping in and using their spending power to buy into something that they haven't had a division in, and being able to pick up cheap labor force like a Disney.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay, yeah.
Being able to swoop in and be like, hey, look, we've got a gaming division now, and look at, you can come, work in Florida. It's great. Our infrastructure works most of the time.
Yeah, I do think that's probably a part of it too. Is that you're going to get something like Amazon and Netflix and Disney are going to be
Yeah,
coming in, are going to coming in and become like the new, big developers. Still technically third party at that point, but like,
there's also
And
Korean
Disney's
studios are starting to get really more, or Korean companies are starting to really get interested in gaming. Like Samsung has been eyeing the gaming sphere for a couple years now, trying to find their way in.
and Disney said as much that they want to, leverage their IP.
And they just bought a 1.5 billion with a B. Am I
Yes,
getting that
1.5
right?
billion.
Stake in Epic.
Was it in Epic? Yeah, it's in Epic, but like it's exclusively for a partnership in Fortnite, though. Right? It's for bringing Disney to Forklift.
But that's
Yeah,
just
because
the step in that
Fortnite has just
direction.
become a means of putting pop culture characters into children's minds.
Disney Vault is now in Fortnite.
Yeah. Oh my god. Disney Plus is no more. Subscribe to Fortnite to be able to watch all of your Disney content.
Yeah, you got to go to the Disney Island to to see all your shit. Dude, but that whole
Little
phrase,
St. Jane's.
I was gonna say the whole idea of a Disney Island is making me feel very bad. I don't like. Yeah, so it's Sony's looking a little iffy right now. They've got they do, I think, coming out. They've got, or here's another bit that was big for them that I was coming out right around that whole news with the dip, is that like there are no major major IPs coming out until like 2025.
Existing IP.
Right. So it's like, so they're doing new stuff as well as, they're relying on the major kind of third party IPs. Like we've got
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy Rebirth coming out.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade is probably
Rise
going
of
to
the
be
Ronin.
the next, the next bigger ones that they're still going to see some profit there because they have.
I mean, I read
Well,
that purely as stop asking us about Ghost of Tsushima 2, you absolute weeaboos.
Yeah, that was the only one that was really kind of in question there. It's like, and it's basically the only one that was determined. Yeah, it's not happening.
Sad. I
anytime
was sad
soon.
about that.
I still need
But-
to
I
play
mean,
the first one.
It just gives
This-
me more time to play the first one. That's one, Mike,
Yeah.
you should add to your list, by the way.
Yeah, that's a
Which
good
one? Ronin or
Ghost-
Ghost of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima.
You'll like that a lot. That's very much a Mike game.
It's and that's
It's
that's
Assassin's
on the
Creed, but better.
much better.
Samurai Assassin's Creed. Yeah,
The-
you can get that as part of the PS Plus.
It's in the catalog. But yeah, this Sony story, I don't know, man. It freaks me out. I think there's a lot riding on what happens over this next year for them financially and what that means for how they develop games going forward. I think we could see, for me, like the scary thing is I think we could see a big reduction in new like high level IP gaming. Like if it's a
I mean, when you
AAA type
become
of game, it's
when you
just going to
become
be
Razor's Edge on profit margin, you can't take risks
right. Exactly.
because
So
risks could lose people a lot of jobs and money.
it's just going to be like either retreads or something that they can make cheap, like that's a live game and just monetize cheaply.
I mean,
think
they've already-
that's what freaks me out.
They're on what, 2 now of their original quote unquote 12 live service games with
Yeah, but they
Helldivers
rolled
2
that
and
back
Foam
to like
Stars.
6, didn't
Yeah,
they?
no, I
Or
was just saying the
5?
original slate was supposed to be 12.
I don't think the other 6 were canceled. They just were like, indefinitely pushed out.
Yeah, timelines indefinitely moved. I mean, I haven't heard jack shit about Foam Stars other than people saying whenever it gets brought up that they're enjoying their time in it, similar to how Splatoon always gets mentioned.
Interesting. So yeah, the only last thing I saw was what I sent last night. Was just like that, like there's probably a similar divide that you see almost on any piece of media, right? Is that like fans are fans and players and consumers are probably enjoying it well enough, but then it's critically not received well. That's kind of par for the course for any media at this point in time. Which
I
I've
mean, I
maintained.
feel like media companies have also built this kind of cult-like facade ability, and this is me getting like self-referential for a second, where it's like they know that's like, oh, if we just release something, it's like our fans will love it, and if you don't like review it well, they'll just say that you're not a real fan or like not a good enough player, like you don't get it. But like they'll,
Like
I mean, Square has a lot of
I've
those.
said this
I am
before.
one of those.
I have equal disdain for the for the critics and for
I hate players and critics
the,
equally.
The average player base, yeah, the masses. I really kind of dislike them all. I am superior to
all
of
you
them.
ever have to do is go to like a general game subreddit and just read the comments there, and it's just like there's drivel. There were people defending the Skull and Bones like under a million players total, where they were like, "That's more
That's a
players than you
sad
thought it
place
would
to
have
be.
been." Admit it. It's like, oh boy,
You got me. You got
That's
The
me.
human
what-
brain is incredible. What it
That's so
will
good.
it's like
rationalize.
boy, 800,000 with free trial players included is definitely the number that Ubisoft wanted after 11 years of development.
Dude, if you
The
guys want to
Singaporean
watch,
government right now is trying to find ways to like impound their facility and steal all.
dude, go Game Ranks just put out like a good video on like what went wrong with Skull and Bones, and dude, it's dire, it's bleak. Like,
I mean,
just-
I think I said it on stream maybe, where it's like the thing that Ubisoft usually does is they're a soulless copy of someone else's good game. So you
they
can
did it to
kind of
themselves
forgive it,
now.
but this is a soulless copy of their own game, and it makes no fucking sense that they can't even capture that feeling.
the worst part
Like,
of
have
it
they
to me,
lost the ability to even look back at Black Flag and be like, "Oh, we don't even know what the essence of this game was"?
well, definitely the worst part of this to me is like what I've been reading about, and they talk about it in that video, is like how, basically the large part of, the Singapore studio are local
Yes.
Singapore devs, but then the management are basically all French assholes who like were just uh uh completely deaf to any
What are the
concerns or
historical
criticisms
relations
from.
between France and Singapore?
Yeah, something tells me not good. Rot, let's say.
And I
uh
mean the French and anyone really. It's like it's the Simpsons meme with the Scottish people. It's like the French hate the English and the French hate the Spanish and
but
the French especially hate the French.
I say there's no people that they hate more than the French themselves. But like it's really bad, like how like, and you feel bad for these employees because like the management was so shitty that like things were so fundamentally mismanaged that they would be like churning out like assets for months at a time, then for the game to be completely redone and having to pause
Start over.
for like two engine upgrades because it went from like a PS4 game to PS4 Pro, then PS5. Yeah, and using engines that were out of date to still end up looking like a PS4 game. And like, yeah, having to like throw out all this work that they had done to then do it all again and have this
I like to
repeat. And
picture
then
that the
none of
studio
these none
itself.
of these managers thought that anything bad was going on. They were still like, no, we know what we're doing. We made Black Flag. There's no way this can be bad. Your concerns are unfounded. Ubisoft Singapore are just a little support studio. We're being, the beneficent overlords by giving you more responsibility. Don't squander it.
I
And
like to
it's
assume
just
that
so
the studio
condescending.
itself, the work environment was like the Sunny episode where they make the dresses with the sweatshop and the steam whistle and the German propaganda playing over the speakers.
Oh, dude, that game is just.
Hey man, you sent us the clip of the boarding, and I've never seen a more accurate and lifelike depiction of pirate boarding in
Yeah,
a
of being a
video game.
pirate, of being
The
a pirate.
boarding, yeah, the boarding is what broke my brain. Like I just can't. I They should be sued for
Imagine
like
spending
even
$70
releasing
on
that
that.
game.
It should have
Dude,
been
Like, I'm
like
not. This is
a
not me
Warner
saying.
Brothers, just do it for tax purposes.
one of my
Yeah.
friends from my D&D group uh is playing. I was like texting the group like, anybody playing Helldivers? It fucking rocks. And then one of them responds with, I'm playing Skull and Bones. And so I just replied with the skull emoji. Just
I mean, a real friend would have sent a 911 or a SWAT
Yeah.
team because that's clearly a call for help.
Yeah.
oh, do a wellness
A
check,
check-in.
please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, wellness.
It's and so at our latest session we were talking about it though, and even he was like, yeah, it's not very good. Like it's there's a lot of things wrong with it. And I'm like, yo, just jump on Helldivers. It's $40. It's crossplay. We can all die for liberty and democracy together. And it's just like, fuck. It feels so bad. Like, why would you spend $70 on that shit?
Ugh.
I mean, the funny part is like, this isn't even me shilling for Sea of Thieves. It's just not my type of game.
mm,
But like, Sea of Thieves
I go
does
to
a
that. It's
better
better. Oh, that's
live
a
service
thank
pirate
you.
esque game.
Thank you, Matt. That's
That
also
was a great
a
transition.
good
I know.
transition
Thank you.
to, we're continuing with the console warrior discourse this month. Again, the other, major
I mean, we
shit
can
going
just
on was
fully. We don't need the Xbox anymore in our console shields. We've dropped our final Xbox shielder.
so this was like the beginning of the month, like the breaking
Xbox is
another,
dead.
let's say another Xbox creator has hit the towers, like another Xbox content creator is giving up,
Jez Corden
has
is
burned
in
their
Xbox
console.
HQ right now with a vest.
Xbox has lost Tim Dog. You know, whoever the fuck those people are, I have no idea. But like to see those like people trending online was always
All of
funny.
them
But
weirdly thumb looking. They all look like thumbs.
it's
Oddly so.
yeah. So there's a whole layer of this discourse that, you know, I won't even paint the full picture, but like there was just, rumors and rumors circulating, no communication from Microsoft, but
I
just,
still think Microsoft's communication on this was the thing that made it the worst.
and still bad. Even
And I wonder
even
if
the
it was just
business
intentionally
update.
bad to make people talk about them, be like, tee hee, they're talking about us.
But dude, even the update that
They're
they
burning
did
their Xboxes because we're cute.
still didn't actually, answer everything or shut the door on things
Oh no, they were very
completely.
ambiguous with their wording.
Like the whole bit about like, oh yeah, Starfield and
Indiana
and Indiana
Jones.
Jones aren't one of they didn't say that they're not coming to PlayStation ever. They basically
They're
said
just not now.
they're not one of the four that
Yeah.
we're announcing now. So yeah.
I was actually going to commend the choice of the four, just because like if you're going to be sending games to cross console, like it should be the smaller titles that do need to do everything they can to reach as many people. Like I don't
So
necessarily care if Halo goes to PlayStation 5. I don't give a shit if Halo is on PlayStation 5.
but if
But
it
like Hi-Fi
does,
Rush,
but
that's
if it
cool
does,
because that's a small game that more people should get their hands on.
but also it's
It
like
does
if
its Jover.
but also yeah, if Halo goes to PS5, it's like yeah, Xbox shouldn't exist at that point. There's no reason for it to exist.
Do you know how many men will be looking up like where they can find some bleach or a gun? Like so many young men in America gone, lost that day.
It's bad, folks. It started with a slow drip feed of this game is going third
Thieves,
is
Hi-Fi
going.
Rush, Pentiment, Grounded.
Say those are the four that actually are going, but then they're like talking like, yeah, it's fucking Gears of War, is fucking Halo, is Starfield, are all these, is Hellblade going to, all these ones that like everyone's,
I actually would
holding.
expect Hellblade to be announced as a
Yeah,
PS5
not
game
that that's a
6 months
huge
after
game, but
launch.
that's one that
Was
Xbox.
already on PS5, PS4 before with Hellblade
But it's like
1.
the the Xbots are all that's the only one that they're like, it's one of these only games that they're holding out for, right? It's like when they're looking at the later releases, it's like, yeah, we're uh Hellblade 2 is going to be a God of War killer type thing, our
I mean, I love that
7 hour
discourse.
7 hour linear narrative experience, yeah, is gonna be comparable to that. Not saying that it won't be a good game, and it won't. It's I'm very interested
No,
in
it's more of
that
a
based on their tech that they're
expectations
doing.
check.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. But yeah, so they're basically saying that every fucking game, yeah, because they were even saying Halo, like the Master Chief Collection,
Yep.
they were saying was potentially going to PlayStation, and it's just
Imagine
like,
walking into like a I was gonna say Best Buy, but I was like, oh man, I can't say that because in the future Best Buy might not be selling fucking games because they're weird.
when I
Imagine
went
walking into your local Walmart and seeing a
when
fucking
I went
PlayStation
back
5 Halo copy sitting
when
on
I
the shelf.
when I went back to Best Buy the other day, they actually had more. They had re-upped their stock. They had
Okay, so
more
it's
things
no
there.
longer Jover.
No, I mean it's still not great, but
It's still, yeah, it's close to being Jover.
it's still relatively bleak. I was able to finally pick up a PS5 copy of Last of Us Part 2. Um, who knows when I'll get around to playing that? No idea. But yeah, so like there's all these rumors like based off data mining and stuff that yeah, this game is coming, this one's coming, leaks here, all of that
If I rush to
speculation.
Switch, just kidding, it's not coming to Switch. Ooh, Switch 2?
And it's just the Xbox community was just fucking melting down.
Balding.
And we talked about it on a stream once, and we had some good discussion there. And we joke, we jest, we kid here, but it's interesting. What do you guys make of like the exclusive strategy, right? Are you in a kind of vacuum? Are you for or against exclusivity as a strategy? And then also, thinking of it in its proper context, can Xbox exist without it? Whether or not exclusivity should be a thing, can Xbox as a brand exist without it? Were these people, these fans, I'm doing significant quotes there because these people are, more than fans, Phil Spencer is their dad. Um,
Papa.
The
so,
Phil Spencer infatuation is
for them to
one of the
feel
most
so
disgusting parts to me.
betrayed by their papa is like, this was deep emotional trauma for them. But it's like we've talked about it. The major point that I made on that stream was like, and this is not talking about should exclusivity be a thing or not, no matter the platform, but like you can see why those people who bought like a Series X or something to see
Feel betrayed.
and to see these games going, say, to PlayStation, and if PlayStation is maintaining their exclusivity, it's like, yeah, you made the wrong fucking choice. Not everybody can afford to buy one console, let alone two. And now they're like, yeah, I made the wrong fucking choice. I should have just bought a PlayStation with my limited resources, and I could play every game, right? Whereas Xbox, now I don't have access to all of Sony's library. I am stuck on this thing that the company that I have chosen to be part of their ecosystem does not care, does not support, is not optimizing the experience for this platform that I've chosen.
That's supposed to be the strongest console out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they've marketed that for 2 generations now and have lost market share on both.
And there have been plenty of games that that have been kind of third party that just play better
That
on
run
PlayStation.
just as good on PlayStation 5 or sometimes better, which is the funny one.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
not universal there, but yeah, what do you guys think about
I
the
don't
whole
think Xbox
exclusivity
as a
thing? And
brand is going to go away. Well, I mean, it'll always be there. Something Microsoft owned. Maybe the Xbox name will get changed in 10 years, and they'll pick a new trendy name.
well, yeah, because a part of the
But like,
discussion was changing it from Xbox Game Pass to Microsoft Game Pass.
yeah,
That they're getting rid of the Xbox brand name, which
like
seems
they're
weird
gonna
to me.
they're gonna persist as a subscription service. I think their end goal always will be just to be a purveyor of titles, a licensee,
Mm-hmm.
someone who just gives you access.
Because that's where the money is.
And like whether or not that becomes a fucking streaming stick that you plug into a TV, maybe a slightly juiced up like an Nvidia Shield box, that can maybe handle some 4K streaming aspects. Because Microsoft loves that fucking multimedia functionality. They pioneered that shit, which almost sank them. But the other aspect is they're always going to have the slightly captive fan base that they built in the Xbox One generation. The people who built their digital library in the Xbox ecosystem, who now, are the opposite version of me, who where I have all of my games on PlayStation and Nintendo, have all of their shit on Xbox. How do you just walk away from your curated 200 games that you've purchased and have access to? They'll always have that captive audience until they find a way to, tell them that their purchase doesn't matter anymore. And that
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about them. They've got their money already.
I
No
think
fucks given.
because they've opened up xCloud to purchase games now. That was one of their big recent updates, was changing xCloud off of just Game Pass to including their purchased catalog.
Interesting. And I think exclusivity with what Microsoft seems to be going towards, it's obvious they don't want to compete on console anymore. That's not in their future plans. That they don't
Microsoft has
have.
hated hardware in every market that they've entered.
Right, exactly. And that's why something we've talked about previously of like Xbox becoming an operating system and running
Third-party
it on
manufacturers making the boxes.
yes. I think that is a very I think there's at least some likelihood that's where this goes for the Xbox brand, and then exclusivity doesn't matter. Like, I don't see why they'd want to be keep their exclusivity, because just sell it to as many people as possible. Maybe it will be exclusive to the Xbox OS. I guess that still works as a model in that situation.
I mean, at that point, if you're
But-
doing third-party hardware purveyors, there's nothing theoretically stopping them from setting it up on like an Xbox operating system that can dual boot with like Sony or something like
Right.
that. Because dual booting has always been, the hardware enthusiast dream. I've got Windows and Apple on a device that runs both like shit.
Yeah. So, but I don't think. So I think that's probably where I would guess Microsoft somewhat goes, and whether they keep it exclusive or not, I don't I don't think they will. Honestly, it just seems like
I mean,
what's like
the
why
pressure that they're
limit?
they're trying to put the pressure on everyone else to move their exclusives everywhere so that the playing
Right.
field becomes even.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because right now they've learned that the playing field has become so unbalanced that the only way they can win is by changing what the playing field is.
But do you think Sony
I think Sony
will
will end
cave?
up being forced to play. I think they've already been forced to play by putting their games on PC. I think the push to PC has been because of Microsoft's push to integrate between PC and console and make them a more
Well, if Microsoft buys everything else, they kind of
yeah.
they kind of are compelled a little bit to.
The interesting one will be Nintendo. Because I've always felt that Nintendo would
Nintendo
much
don't care.
rather fucking go down choking their IP with them than to ever
Yeah.
give them up or try to give them to somebody else.
They don't care.
They'll go back to being
They're
an
the most
actual trading
secure.
card company,
They're the most secure in their position.
the
by
most
far.
cash rich company in Japan.
Literally, like the thing about Nintendo is Japan as a country would have to cease to exist for Nintendo to go out of business. Like it's not
They
possible.
are a tent pole of the Japanese economy.
Right. Like we said, like when there was the whole rumor months ago about like, oh, is Microsoft going to try to buy Nintendo next? They're like, no, Japan, the Japan government would never let that happen. There's no fucking way.
Beyond the fact that the last time that happened years ago, Nintendo laughed them out of the boardroom.
Yeah. So like there was all this speculation, all this shit was going on about what the fuck was happening with Xbox. They finally give this fucking podcast, and it's putting
It wasn't even a
podcast
podcast.
in
It was just like
quotes.
a weird informal fucking YouTube video.
Yeah, but like apparently, I guess you could listen to it in podcast form. Calling it a podcast was very weird. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
if
why
you have
they did
YouTube
that.
Premium, you could listen to any YouTube video as a podcast then.
Yeah, it's very weird. But yeah, so they eventually, they had this discussion here where they had all like the Xbox heads. They had Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty.
Sarah Bond and Matt Booty being there felt like the adults had to be in the room.
And
it felt like the parents were making the kid apologize.
yeah, basically though they just said, yeah, we're testing the waters. 4 games are coming to other consoles. They didn't announce what they were, but everybody basically was able to deduce that it's Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. They confirmed Game Pass is not going to other consoles. Activision Blizzard games starting with Diablo 4 coming to Game Pass. First party studios are still going to be day and date on Game Pass. That was a big one that people were worried about, because again, it's like if they stopped that, it's like that was, to me, that was the biggest thing. Like if that got confirmed, it was truly Jover, because Game Pass is their lifeline right now. That's the only thing that they've got going for them and are justifying their whole business strategy around. So to again be for the Xbox fans, it's like, what's the fucking point then of subscribing to Game Pass, right? That's the value proposition.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you're making me wait, now I'm being a patient gamer and I might as well just buy it on sale.
And always own it, so that way when when they decide to take it off Game Pass.
Well, that
a
was
year
some of the
later.
funny parts. Is some of those Xbox games they're bringing over, and I think all of them were digital only when they were on Xbox. Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment. I don't know. Grounded is the only one I'm curious on, but I know Sea of Thieves
I
didn't
don't
have a
think that was
physical.
physical. I don't think that was physical. That was
So
that's another like group survival game. You know,
yeah.
that
So
was a multi.
those are four
Those
non-physical
those are the
games that,
two
as they're
multiplayer.
bringing over to the other consoles, are getting third-party physical releases.
But they're only going through the fucking limited run shit, which is
Yeah,
bullshit.
which is the third-party limited release.
Overpriced fucking shit.
Overpriced, false scarcity.
Yeah, and so like
Wait, they
Pentiment
charge
is,
more than
Yes,
the game, the
because
cost of the digital
we're a
game.
small beans company who's producing small runs of games for people. So we can charge an additional
Pentiment
$10 to $20.
costs $20 normally.
Yeah.
Limited run. This is the first one that they're doing. Limited run is going to be $35, and it doesn't come
Oh,
out. And it doesn't come out until August.
oh,
Whereas you could get it digitally like next month.
that's crazy. I
So
didn't realize that.
And
I'm like kind of
I was
like
being a little facetious.
eh.
I understand it when you have to do quote unquote in the name limited production runs. You do incur a lot of cost on your production line because you have to do so many changeovers constantly for new cycles, and there's all the downtime and the different maintenance costs. It's like I get it. I get it. Trust me. No one understands more than I the pains of when you set up a beautiful industrial line and someone says, change what it makes every fucking 2 weeks, you asshole. But it still sucks as a consumer. And I'd much rather just get the full cost game released as it's supposed to be.
So I'm probably not going to get Pentiment for that for all those reasons.
Hi-Fi Rush.
I own it on Steam. Hi-Fi Rush is the one that I might do because I don't own that one. I played it on when I had Game Pass. I played both of those on Game Pass when I had it. I bought Pentiment when it was on sale on Steam just because I want to support Obsidian. I want them to make more games like that, and not fucking
Said you're
whatever
going to get more Avowed.
Whatever Avowed is going to be. Jesus Christ. Look at previous episodes for my thoughts and takes on what the fuck that's going to be.
Game of the Year contender right there.
You know it.
All right. So with the last bit of time that we've got remaining today,
we're going to talk about the real Game of the Year contender.
I've seen so many people unironically saying that, like, because I think there's the people they chose the Xenoblade 3 DLC as like their game of the year for last year. That's like going to be 2 years in a row where I picked DLCs as my game of the year.
I mean, unironically, as the first true from software pilled head in this group, their DLC always outshines the base game, and it's just something I can't tell any of you how to expect or what to expect going in, but just it's gonna be harder, it's gonna be better, there's gonna be more shit. Dude, there was fucking kung fu going on in that trailer.
Yeah.
There was that was fucking Senpo arts right there.
Yeah.
That did get me excited.
So here's my thing that I wanna get out there because I want our because Matt is all of our From South dad here. You know, he's the one who got us all into these games.
I remember going to your house in like 2019 when you were starting to build up about D&D, and my connection to your D&D discussion was just how much of it related to Dark Souls.
Yeah, because it was inspired. Lots of it was inspired by it. But so here's the thing. This is largely a me problem, and I'm pissed at myself. I'm pissed at last year Ben who played Elden Ring and stupidly hit yes on starting New Game Plus. I'm fucked. Like in order to get to play the DLC, I'm gonna have to do another full playthrough in some capacity, whether it's starting a new character or doing the DLC in New Game Plus scaling, and have to do just it would take me less time to get there doing New Game Plus, but will be a harder time to play the DLC in New Game Plus, because New Game Plus, I've got all of my things. I'm at a higher level. I've got all the weapons that I'm comfortable with and all that shit, and I can just do a boss rush because basically, in order to access the DLC, you have to have beaten Radon and Moog.
Rogue, yeah.
In order to do that. So it's like I could just do a boss rush to beat Radon, do Var's quest line, get to Mogwin Palace, beat Moog, and then and I'm good and can just go from there.
Yeah, realistically, those are the only two things you'd have to do too, because you can skip Stormvale.
I would probably not though, just because it's been a while. I would use that opportunity
And because
to
Stormvale is just fun.
and I would just do it to get my get everything back in the swing.
I think my favorite part about rerunning Stormvale is first playthrough, go around the outside because you don't trust you don't I don't remember his name. You don't trust the merchant who tells you about the gate.
Mm.
And on reruns, you just run through that gate and dodge the crossbow bolts, and you're in the boss fight in like under 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like such a straightforward run from there. I was like, wow, I can't believe I ever adventured around the entirety of Stormvale Castle when I could just be a man and run through here.
So yeah, my point to Mike and Andrew is do not start New Game Plus. Don't do it.
I'm now terrified that I may have. I
Don't
know
do
if
it.
I did or
I
didn't.
know I did not.
You didn't
You
beat
didn't
it.
beat it, yeah.
You didn't beat
it
it.
yet.
Yeah.
So you're
But you're
good.
fine. You've beaten Moog, right? So
Yeah.
so you can go. Like you'll be
You
able
see,
to go.
I have two files. So I have a file that's progressed and a file that's stuck before New Game Plus. So I'm good.
So you played on PC. So how does the saving work on PC? Are there save files, or did you just like manually back something up?
Manually back something up on an external hard drive.
And there are save files. You could get them.
Yep.
You PC
And then
Master Race for real. Like
when time needed, I just flip them out.
Like, so Matt was like telling me like, yeah, you don't want your first experience with New Game Plus or your first experience with what's it called? With
From
the
software
DLC
to be New
Game Plus. And it's like, but I really don't want to spend 70 more hours just to be able.
I mean, it won't be 70 hours. It won't. It won't.
It'll
probably be closer to 40.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend 40 hours just to be able to play the DLC, right? I don't want to do that. As much as I love the game, I am not a game replayer. Never have been, never will be.
Oh my, I'm so scared that I did this. I'm so scared that I fucking did this. Oh no.
I don't think you did. I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Well, I don't think I did either.
I'm pretty sure you would have had to deliberately do it.
If I did it, I'm not playing the DLC.
Like that's like where I'm at. I'm just like, how do I feel? Because it's like right now, June is basically is basically empty. So it's like, yes, but it's what pisses me off is like that could be backlog time. I've been trying to like tackle my backlog, and it's just like I don't need to be going and playing a game that I already beat.
The base people know that their backlog is for when the end times happen.
You got to get like the setup, like a hamster wheel going, so that like you're generating your own power and can play games forever. Get in the best shape of your life and play video games all day. Yeah. It's like
downloading Elden Ring right now to figure this out.
Yeah,
I played on PC.
No, you just got rid of it.
Oh,
I popped the disc in yesterday and tried to see if I had if like the last cloud save was maybe from like just before I did it, but no. I popped up back in the chapel. I went and I beat the first boss.
The Scion.
I went and beat him and then died off the cliff. Which is great. You don't lose your runes there. You don't lose your when it kills you there.
Realistically speaking, you can't get back there for a very long time.
So it was cool. So
'Cause you have to go to Eric Adams' backyard, and then
yeah. So what I need to go do though now, like if I'm doing that either way, is because I've got like however many, whatever runes you get from killing Elden Beast, I've still got just chilling there. I
a
gotta
lot.
I just gotta not die and go find Melina and be able to level up to spend all those, and then I'll decide what I'm doing. Because if I
That's not
die and
hard
lose
either.
those,
All you have to do,
I
all you
gotta
have to
go
do
to
is
the
get a
gate
round tree
front.
sentinel,
Yeah,
and then head to the ruins.
The runes.
well, isn't she's at gate front, right?
Yes, gate front ruins.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I
You
gotta
don't know
run
the whole map by the exact
geography.
geographical.
Yeah, I don't know all the yeah, all the landmarks, but like, oh man, I'm just like, I'm so pissed at myself that I did that. And I'm but also pissed at them that that's how you access it. Like, it's
I
totally
mean,
from software style, right? I get it, but like, it's just be like,
you want
let me
you want
just
to know how you
let me just
access.
jump right in. Let me just jump
You
right
want to know
into
how you
DLC.
access the DLC in Dark Souls 1?
Something crazy.
Yeah, let's go. Here, we'll start you through how you do it. First, you go to Darkroot Basin. You skip all the blue crystal golems, or you can kill them if you want. You then kill the Hydra, who only comes and attacks you with his heads coming across the lake in very specific windows. You then reload your quit reload, reset the area, run over. You'll find a gold golem. You kill the gold golem. You're now free Dusk. You then go talk to Dusk. Dusk talks about Ulasil. You then leave because Ulasil makes no sense to you. Like, what the fuck is Ulasil? Okay, you go to the Duke's archives. You're like, I'm going to go read a book about Ulasil. There's another golem in there. You kill the golem, you get a pendant. You're like, whoa, pendant, cool. You go back to where the gold golem was wearing the pendant, and now there's a portal, and you touch the portal, and now you're in the DLC.
Oh wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I own Dark Souls 1 remastered now. I'm good that comes with all the DLC and shit. Not gonna
Yeah.
touch that. Not gonna do that.
I think my favorite thing is like, even I can say this, is like, I only know that because like I've watched it done and like I've read the walkthrough for it. I want to know the person who found that
who
on their
figured
own.
it out? Who figured out
Yeah,
how
who
to do
figured
that?
out every single step and what it was meant to do.
That's wild.
Because I added some narration there. It's like, Ulasil, I'm going to go read a book in the archives. No, you're not told to do that. You just go to the archives and boom, there's a golem there you have to kill all of a sudden. You could have gone to the archives before and never seen this golem.
See, here's the thing. It's like with the time that I may have to spend replaying Elden
Holy shit,
Ring,
that was a whole podcast rant. I forgot we're
could
recording.
I could be playing Dark Souls 1 instead for the first time, you know? Again, tackling something on the backlog.
Or Dark
That's
Souls 2, everyone's favorite Dark Souls
everyone's
game.
favorite game, yeah. Like that's my problem, right? It's like, so
I
do
want to
I
play Bloodborne.
There were people doing
I
improper
do want to play
translations of the
Bloodborne, but I
Miyazaki
also
interview.
don't want to play 30 frames per second. I'm a spoiled little piss baby.
There was some people doing some like a bad lip reading of the Miyazaki interview where he was talking about the Bloodborne remake possibilities, where they replaced Bloodborne with Dark Souls 2.
My guy has not ruled out any of these things, like Bloodborne
No,
remaster,
he
remake,
basically confirmed what I thought,
Elden
which is
Ring
they're going to
sequel.
skip a generation, just like they did with Demon Souls, and wait for the 6, and that's going to be the PS6 launch title.
Six launch
Bloodborne
title.
remake.
Oh boy, hell yeah!
Wait. I mean, I am excited for this if as long as I didn't start New Game Plus. This looks fucking awesome.
So yeah, has anybody watched the full 40-minute Vati video
No, I haven't
breakdown?
yet.
I've watched like a third of it. I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet.
I mean, I'm just super excited. We have a date. We know a time. The scale, like, it's $40 DLC, which means that this is
basically
like,
a sequel.
As people have said, or like the speculation, or I don't remember if it was ever fully confirmed. This is 2 DLCs combined into one. This is 2 DLC scopes because they are a $20 DLC company. That's what they are built on. It's like the Gabagool.
Yeah. So Matt, do you think you'll go through it on your saved character from before
Yep.
New Game Plus?
Yep.
I'm so mad. I'm so angry.
I mean, it's partially my fault as a papa. I should have known better and warned you guys
to not go into New Game Plus. Yeah.
to not immediately trigger New Game Plus.
I didn't when I did Sekiro, but there's no fucking DLC for that. So
Well, not entirely true. There was free DLC that was released. It's a
is that
boss rush mode.
Oh,
with
yeah, which just automatically unlocks. Is that the inner? Is that the inner
Yep.
thing, or is that when you?
That's where the actual hardest boss fight in the game is. Inner Ashina.
Iteration, yeah. I've got such a mix of emotions here. I don't know. Is it still downloading, Andrew? I want to know.
Yeah, it is still downloading.
We'll have to find out off pod.
You guys know my hourly rate. You can rent me out to run your characters back to DLC.
Like for real, that may be because if Matt didn't have to do it, he'd have no problem. Matt loves to do these type of things. Like loves to
I would just start a new run with a new character and go for a new build.
I mean, so here's the thing: I had to respec. So my whole character is a new build already. I do think if I'm going to do this again, I am just going to do New Game Plus and just deal with the consequences of my actions.
I mean, if you go New Game Plus, you have the fucking Elden Beast spirit or spirit.
Yeah, the remembrance. It's still
you have the remembrance, and you can get the sword, and the sword is pretty much easy mode for most shit.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what I'm just going to end up doing because it will take the least amount of my time to do it.
It'll also make you a better gamer so that when you beat the DLC on New Game Plus, you can be like, I beat it on New Game Plus. And I'll be like, fuck, I got to beat it on New Game Plus 7.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking more about this. Hell, we could do a full reactionaries video, stream just like watching the Vati breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Only if we also include his 2-hour breakdown on the lore of dragons.
Yeah, we may do that. That kind of sounds like fun. All right, but we're over time for today.
This is one more transmission from Super Earth. Make sure you sign out, then log back in and dive for hell.
Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to spread more managed democracy until later tonight. But I will be there. But folks, you can, in the meantime, you can support us by following and subscribing at twitch.tv/campaignComrades. Check out the socials. You know the drill. We will be back next week, I believe.
Half-Life.
With Matt's episode pick for this year. He has brought us back to the formative ages of PC gaming with Valve's Half-Life, which one
of the most next gen 90s games you'll play.
I watched some cool videos.
I will not be using the word next gen.
Oh, I am. I played it on Steam Deck. That's a next gen console, baby.
All right. So we will see you all then. Until then. Bye-bye.